We might have just clicked into gear just in time for today's episode.
Sometimes you're a fire, sometimes you're a ghost. Sometimes you can give me all the things that I love the most. Sometimes you're a queen, sometimes you're a curse, and sometimes a whole lot worse. Yeah, nobody's quite like you.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Blue Hell Worldwide here on Shaun Does FM. Today we've got episode number 7 where we look to bounce back from a bit of a horror show yesterday. If you missed the episode, I will leave a link to it above my head in the top right corner. But today we are taking on Junior FC in a top of the table MLS clash prior to taking on Cluj in the Europa League and trying to keep ourselves in a good position to try and progress in that competition as well. So if you're looking forward to today, then remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yeah, we're trying to come back into form after a bit of a disaster against both Young Boys and then definitely against Wolfsburg in yesterday's episode, and we have played 3 games off camera all in the MLS since then. And it took us a little while to get our form back on track, but hopefully we've done it now coming into the games that we are about to play today. Off the back of that Wolfsburg game, we were missing some players on an international break, so that definitely didn't help ourselves trying to get back into form in the MLS. And unfortunately, we did suffer a few losses to make it a bad little patch of form to start November. First off, we took on Atlas Guadalajara at home and suffered a 1-0 defeat. It took until the hour mark for the only goal in this game to be scored. A counter-attack from a corner, nicely set up there, was Colombia by Malcora, and he just slid that away in the bottom right corner, and that was the goal that won the game. Fair play to Atlas Guadalajara as they had more shots on target despite having less shots in the game. We probably should have drew that game at worst, but just a bad result for us there, and unfortunately that was another red dot in our first drop points in the MLS for quite some time as well. So that was a bit unfortunate. And then off the back of that, we took on Atletico San Luis and again suffered defeat again at home as well. This time a 2-1 loss. Duque opening the scoring for San Luis just shy of the hour mark. Berté was making his way down the right, gets a open header at the far post and puts that in the top left corner to make it 1-0. But we did equalise with a quarter of an hour to go, and it was a really nice strike this from Dia, a really tight angle, just thumps that into the top left corner with his left foot and makes it 1-1, and it felt pretty good at that stage. But then with just under a quarter of an hour to go, a corner to San Luis falls to Güemes, and he thumps that into the top left corner himself and gives them a 2-1 lead. Pretty even game stat-wise. Again, weren't quite clinical enough with our chances in front of goal compared to the opposition, and once again, we drop 3 points in a home league game. So we were looking a little bit dodgy at that stage, having lost 4 straight games. But luckily, coming into today's episode, we did play Pumas away from home and were able to recapture some form, pick up a 2-0 win. We got a corner ourselves in the 10th minute, and it was Punchik putting that into the top left corner off of Zusi's delivery. And then about a quarter of an hour later, Tete with a nice ball for Louis Martins. He has a shot. It is saved. The ball falls to Alan Pulido, his first goal in a wee while to make it 2-0, and that is how the scoreline stood in this game. So we did well to hang on, especially because in the 49th minute, as you're about to see, there was a red card here for Graham Zusi, so not ideal going down a man here. It is Alvarez on the ball, and he 2-foots him, very similar to what we've seen Maximiliano Oliveira do in a prior game this season. So we went down to 10 men for most of the second half, but we're just able to hang on to that 2-0 win, which was quite nice, exactly what we needed, albeit we are going to be missing Zusi for the first game of today's episode because of suspension. Can't argue with that too much. He was having a good game up until then as well, but at least we got 3 points out of that game, albeit discipline, a little bit of an issue for us, but hopefully that can be nipped in the bud prior to today's episode. So what that means for the MLS coming into the first game is that we are up in third, having played a few more games to catch up on our games played since the end of yesterday's episode. 3 points behind Atletico San Luis, who did beat us, of course, but we have 3 games in hand on them, 3 games in hand on Junior as well, but they are 9 points clear on 33 points. So It'd be good if we can just get some points out of this first game of today's episode, to be honest, because Junior FC do look like they're running away with this a little bit, albeit those games in hand do make things a little bit funny in the league at the moment. You can see behind us, Atlanta United actually have 4 games in hand, so we hopefully can do enough to try and keep ahead of them as well to sort of earn the second spot in behind Junior FC at the moment. It feels like us and Atlanta could be fighting out for that second spot, with all due respect to Atletico San Luis, just with the games in hand that both of us do have on them, and the top 2 teams do get promoted at the end of the season. So it just feels like a little mini early season battle for that second promotion place at the moment between us and Atlanta United. But we are not just missing Graham Zusi for the first game of today's episode. In the second game, highlight-wise, that we showed you guys against San Luis early on, Johnny Effin Russell went off injured with a hamstring strain. He is out between 8 days and 3 weeks, so unfortunately he's not going to be available for either game today. That means that the backups, Kerry Shelton in particular, is going to have to really step up for this episode and maybe the next one as well. But that's a big loss for us. Johnny Effin Russell has played quite well for us so far this season as a Super Scot, so we'll see if Kerry Shelton can do a decent job trying to fill his position in the team. And Roger Espinoza is now back as our backup box-to-box midfielder behind an ever-improving Gianluca Busio. But I think that covers everything prior to our 2 games in today's episode, so we're about to crack into the first one, a home league game. I think it's one of the first league games that we're showing you guys of this season. As I said, a pretty tough task for us in this one against a high-flying Junior FC. A point out of this game would probably take, but we'll come back shortly from Children's Mercy Park and see how we can get on against the top of the table team. And no TV coverage for this league game in today's episode, so we'll run you guys through the team now. As I said, Lindsay coming in for Zusi because of suspension. That means that Dyer is going to be covering the backup right back slot for us. Shelton comes in for the injured Johnny Russell, and also on the bench, Tete is actually out suspended. So Ngongolo, the young French defensive midfielder that we picked up from Saint Etienne in the start of the safe transfer window, he gets his first crack potentially at first team football should we need to use him off the bench. But apart from those couple of changes, as strong as we can have the team considering, and hopefully we can get a decent result here against top of the table Junior. 5 minutes gone and we are starting off with a throw for Junior in the red and white stripes with the black shorts. It does appear like we again are in our light blue hoop uniform, and we get a good early interception there. Walter making his way forward. Can we get off to a good start? Find Shelton. Good ball for Pulido, but just can't quite get that past the goalkeeper at the near post. Good chance, but a good save there from the Junior goalkeeper. As the game goes a bit freezy, we have the corner. They do clear it away safely there, do Junior, and it remains 0 early doors, but a good chance there for Pulido. 18 minutes gone. We have a goal kick here to SKC as the rain starts to fall in Kansas City. We try and switch that ball, but it's a poor pass. And Velasco gets onto things here for Junior. Ball in behind for Boyer. Tries to put it in the bottom right, but that just misses the goal ever so slightly. Good chance for both teams now, but it still remains 0. 28 minutes gone and Junior have a throw in a good area of the pitch, although we do cut that out, and Daniel Shalloy starts making his way down the left wing, but Ditter tidies things up there for Junior, and it remains 0, just coming up to the half-hour mark. A pretty even game so far. Both teams having one good chance, but not able to beat the goalkeeper or put it on target in Junior FC's case. But we do have the ball and look to roll it out from the back, passing it a bit too squarely there, but we start to get things going forward ever so slightly now as Walter will find Gianluca Busio, who's improving quite a bit at the moment. Quite excited to see what he can do with this regular first team football. And the ball goes out to Louis Martins, who's made his way nicely down the left hand, finds Walter just outside the box. What a finish that is from Remy Walter, and we might have just clicked into gear just in time for today's episode. A really nice finish to make it 1-0 right on the half-hour mark. Busio finds Louis Martins, makes his way forward onto the edge of the box, can just spot Walter in enough space and rockets that into the top left corner. Wonderful strike from the French midfielder, and we go 1-0 up at the half-hour mark. 38 minutes gone, we have a throw-in, albeit in a bit of a dangerous area of the pitch, but we are keeping possession at the moment as we look to hold on to this 1-0 lead, hopefully make it 2. Daniel Shalloy there giving up on a header pretty easily. And that's a great chance here for Boyer. He puts it in the back of the net, but he might be offside. That's a bit of a getaway for us there because we really gave that chance up far too easily. Daniel Shallowy could have at least challenged for the ball from that header. Might not have won the challenge, but still, he gave up on that very easily. And from there, this ball is played through, and it's a very debatable offside. That one could have gone either way. It went in our favour, and it does remain 1-0, somewhat controversially, just shy of half-time. And that is half-time here in this MLS clash at Children's Mercy Park. Pretty happy with the scoreline. We got away with one right towards the end of the half there, but fairly even game at the moment. But we got that goal through Walter, a nice strike into the top left corner at the half-hour mark by him. Really good late chance for Junior. Probably a bit harsh to have that one ruled out, but we take the lead into half-time, and hopefully we can hold on to it, get one more goal to put a cushion on these guys, and that'd be 3 big points for us, but pretty happy with this. 1-0 against top of the table. Hopefully we can hold on and at least get 1 point out of this game. And it will be Junior to restart as they will kick off the second half playing left to right and Hal on the ball, and hopefully we can make a good start in this half as well as we did somewhat in the first anyway, and hold on to this 1-0 lead. That's a good chance for us to intercept Busio. Polito will find Shelton. Good chance for him here. He has a shot and it hits the crossbar. A save from Shaw and goal from Junior there, I believe. A really good chance to make it 2 just after half time, but still it remains 1-0. 55 minutes gone and we have a throw. Martin finding Busio, but he loses possession. Fontas wins the header and Walter then gets beaten to the return, but good hustle there from Kerry Shelton, playing decently in place of Johnny Russell. Nice ball for Shallowy. Can he make it 2? He hits the post. Great chance there. Couple of good ones early in the half. The woodwork coming to the rescue of Junior, and it does remain 1-0 as we get to the hour mark. And with 62 minutes gone, we are going to make our first substitution of the game. Gianluca Busio playing decently, but has picked up a yellow card, so we'll get some match fitness under Roger Espinoza here. Just see if he can make a difference, get him ready for some more football as well. It's the benefit of this substitution. Hopefully, it'll be our first substitution, and hopefully we can keep holding on to this 1-0 lead. And up to the 67-minute mark now, we'll make another substitution. Walter, the goal scorer, on a red heart. Cicelo on for him. 23 minutes to go, still 1-0. Quarter of an hour left to go in this game, and it is a goal kick to Junior. They hump it long. Martins wins the header, and Shallowy will hold the ball up for us there. It's a poor pass though, and Junior able to get something going potentially here on the counter-attack. Julio will find Ballon, and Hull over to Julio. Finds, I think that's Villafala, in a nice bit of space, and that's a good finish from a tight angle, and they have equalised with just under a quarter of an hour to go. That's a little bit of a frustrating goal to concede. Shallowy just giving the ball away a little bit easily with a little bit of a soft pass to Martins there, and he's found a lot of space there via Farah. Nice hard finish, gets it past Melia. Potentially our defence should have been covering him, but they have equalised with 14 minutes to go, have Junior, and we will make our last substitution here with Kerry Shelton and Daniel Shallowy on a red heart. Now, in terms of substitutions, with the options that we do have on the bench, Gutty kinda does have decent strength on both feet. So I think what we're going to do is bring Kinda on for Shelton. Shallowy just has that moment of magic in him, and I don't know if Shelton has that yet. So that's the change that we will make with both of them having similar types of games. We'll see if Kinda can do something on that right wing for us, but it's 1-1 with only 10 minutes left to go. And unfortunately, that late change did nothing for us in either team. In the end, it is a 1-1 draw, which isn't bad before the game. I would have taken that considering our recent form, but to give up a reasonably late goal there to Villafara is a little bit frustrating, but it was a game that we did slightly dominate stat-wise. We had a couple of chances early on in the second half to put that one beyond doubt, but against top of the table, that's a decent point, truth be told, so we'll take that. Could have won the game, but that happens sometimes, and we'll just keep boosting the boys' confidence after that poor run of form we had at the start of the month. So not a terrible result. Definitely could have won that game, but we'll take that point and see what that does for the MLS table before we crack into the second game of today's episode in the Europa League against Cluj, who are top of our group there. And it does keep us in third position, albeit now 5 points behind Atletico San Luis, but we do still have those 3 games in hand on those guys. So still in a decent position here in the league with those games in hand considered, but we'll come back shortly for the second game of today's episode, where we will be taking on top of the group Cluj from Romania in the Europa League. So we've got TV coverage for this Europa League game, and we have done a full rotation. The only player still in there from the first game today is Jalen Lindsay, with Zusi having been suspended for that game. We'll keep the first 11 fresh for the MLS, and there is the Cluj team who did beat us in one of our first games in this group, albeit that was a game that Maxi got red carded in and we gave away a penalty. So hoping for some better discipline today, and this is the team that pushed them quite close in that game. So hopefully at home we can get a better result with better discipline here today. 21 minutes gone, the first highlight of the game, a corner which Oliveira puts in, and Nicolas Isamart-Millen, the French centre-back, gets us 1-0 up with a header just into the left-hand side of goal past the goalkeeper. It is near post, and that is exactly the start that we were after with this rotation. A good header, good tight angle that the goalkeeper can't quite get to, the near post corner coming off for us there, and we go 1-0 up after 25 minutes. 31 minutes gone here, and it's the exact same situation, and we make it 2. This time he goes into the top right corner, and that is a near perfect start for us against top of the group in this Europa League. After that poor start to the month, we might just start to be finding our form yet again. Pretty much the same header, just doesn't quite get the same momentum on it, but still gets it past the goalkeeper into the other corner, and it's 2-0 with 32 minutes gone. And that is half time in this Europa League game, and I am very happy with how this one is going. 2-0 up, everyone playing pretty well. Isamart's picked up a yellow card but got those 2 goals, both being set up nicely by Maxi, who's getting a bit of redemption after the red card. The first time we played this, guys, but very happy with how this is going. Looking quite good against them today, and hopefully we can keep this up in the second half. No changes at half time. 2-0 up, 52 minutes gone, and it is a free kick to Cluj just inside our half. So hopefully we can hold on to a clean sheet here ourselves, and that's a good interception there from Cicello. Sets up Harris. Can he get past his defender? Is trying to. Back to Mushagalusa. What can he do? It's a tight angle. Takes the shot on. It's rebounded. It's a bit of a mess, and somehow Cluj keep that from going in the back of the net, and it's still 2-0 with 10 minutes gone in the second half. Up to the 90-minute mark, we have made some changes throughout the second half, and we'll just tell Mushagalusa there to ease off tackles, just players getting tired, also picking up yellow cards, playing so-so, but there's been nothing happen since the 55-minute mark, and that suits us down to the ground, because that's a big 3 points for us in this Europa League group, taking it off top of the group Cluj. A good solid performance from our rotation there. Isamart-Millen, despite picking up a yellow card, definitely man of the match, picking up the 2 goals, albeit both were set up by Maxi Oliveira, who got some revenge for that red card, as I said, in the first game. But that's a good 3 points for us, and we'll come back shortly and show you guys what that means for our group going into tomorrow's episode. And here is how our group looks going into the last 3 games of the Europa League group stage. We are 2 points behind Cluj, level on points with Feyenoord, and we've got a 3-point gap over Young Boys, and it's a bit further back to both Vasco da Gama and Derby County. So we are definitely still in the hunt to get out of this group. Luckily, we did win that game today. Otherwise, Feyenoord would have a little bit of a break on us. But at the moment, we're definitely in with a shout of getting out of this group, albeit I'm not too sure what the deciding factor is for us in Feyenoord. We did beat them in our only game to date. Maybe that head-to-head is going to be more important once we play the last game of this group stage. But otherwise, we're on the exact same goal difference, and we're still behind them at the moment. So not too sure what the deciding factor there is in a tiebreaker on points, and that could be quite important come the end of this Europa League group stage. But we're in the hunt going into tomorrow's episode, and I think that's what the focus is going to be in that episode, as we see if we can make our way into the knockout phase of this Europa League, which would be a little bit of a surprise, a very nice one considering we've used the rotation for most of these games, and also a little bit of a first 11. Got a few games a couple of episodes ago, but we're definitely still in the hunt, and that would be a very good effort to get out of this group with the likes of Young Boys and Feyenoord in it. But we will wrap this up in tomorrow's episode, because if you look at our December schedule, we've got Derby County coming up in the first Europa League game of the month. I might play that one off camera just with where they are situated, and we'll keep it to 2 games per episode and we will bring you guys the young boys game. And if we can make our way out of the group, then we'll also bring you guys the final game. Otherwise, we might chuck in the Real Salt Lake game instead. But hopefully, if things go to plan and we do have a chance to get out of this group going into the last game of that group stage, then it will be both young boys and final coming up in tomorrow's episode. And both of those games are at home, so that gives us a really good chance to try and get out of this group. But if you did enjoy today's episode, getting back on track with 2 wins after yesterday's wank Dorf without the Dorf, then remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and also if you haven't done so already, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. And until tomorrow, where hopefully we can make our way to the Europa League knockouts, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.